Your Uber driver is a woman named Margaret. You're glad, because you're escaping this really awkward first date with a man named Oswald. And you don't want to deal with anyone from the male species. She offers you a bottle of water. You take it. And remember a Randall Jarrell poem you used to love in high school? Something about water coming up from a well at the bottom of the world. You quote it to her. And she tells you a poem in return. She says the only people who recognize the seriousness of water are dreamers, poets, and lunatics. She's quoting the poem wrong, but that's okay, because she's trying, and we like her. She asks which one you are. And all this heady talk with Margaret is making you think maybe you're not ready for casual dating at all. Margaret says, why don't you try taking up knitting or something? You have an immediate vision of Grandmother Rabbit from Goodnight Moon that you can't quite shake, so you doubt that knitting will be your next move, but you wouldn't mind taking up a hobby. You think of two you've always wanted to try, piano and cooking, and decide to pursue one of those. So, which will it be? Piano lessons or cooking class? The sociological theory of rational choice states criminal offenders make willful and conscious decisions throughout the crime phase. The Atlantic, on October 16, 2017, argues, sexual assault has somehow become our exception. Unlike vandalism or even murder, the choices we frequently call into question after a rape occurs are those of the victim. In an attempt to explain this well-known phenomenon, The Atlantic furthers, we hold victims accountable for their misfortune to avoid admitting that something just as unthinkable could happen to us, even if we choose everything right. So through this Choose Your Own Adventure performance, placing the choices in all of our hands, we can see how baseless this line of thinking is. We'll exercise collective choice to simulate, as a reminder, assault is never the victim's fault. And the only choice that should ever be criticized is that of the assailant. So please, if you're able, do respond and participate with me. Choose Your Own by Jeanne Jones. So, are we starting with piano or cooking?
Piano!
Piano! You decide to take a piano class. You've always wanted to play, but can barely get past the first few bars of Chopsticks before everyone's rolling their eyes over the wrong notes. You find a teacher nearby. She offers lessons in her windowless basement. It's decorated without irony in 1970s style. Replete with this shag rug and an old husband knocking around upstairs. Usually cooking some obnoxious smelling vegetable that seems to hinder your ability to pick up the G5 finger scale, and it's all really quite boring. But you're moving right along in your 2A technique and artistry book, and you're just trying to stay awake. You consider dropping out of piano lessons, but you've never been much of a quitter. So, do you stay in class, or maybe try those cooking lessons? You decide to stay in class. One day after a particularly successful lesson, when you feel you've really mastered the damper pedal, a new student arrives for the 6:30 slot. It's this adorable little 4-year-old boy named Richie who hops right up onto the raised stool and starts hammering out. Mr. Hayden's theme? A song that took you 7 weeks to master? It's fine, you're fine. It's not really that remarkable, okay? What is remarkable, however, is that Richie is accompanied by an even more adorable father named Skylar a blonde veteran in this camouflage baseball cap who, it turns out, just moved into the neighborhood after getting divorced from his wife. He's tall and handsome and damaged. We'll say complicated. But you did promise yourself that you wouldn't date for a while. So, do you ask him out, or do you just go home?
Go home!
You're an independent woman! Boulevard, which is really only Wisconsin Avenue, but it feels like this city street just pulsing with life. A song plays in your head, that giddy feeling that accompanies having made the right choice floods through you with this rare sense of well-being. A tavern comes up on your right. It's dark and cool in there, and they have this old jukebox that plays the Allman Brothers. You go inside. It's nearly empty. There's a man sitting at the bar drinking a draft beer, naturally. And an old couple sitting at a table talking to each other, with their foreheads nearly pressed together. The bartender asks you what you'd like, and you order a tequila sunrise. You drink it in 3 large swallows with the ice crashing against your face at the end. The bartender looks at you with shock. And a little awe. You order another one, but this time mention you'd like more tequila and less sunrise. But instead she hands you a water, telling you to think about tomorrow. It's all about the water, she reminds you. But you don't get to drink this one with the same ferocity. The first one's working. A little too well, actually. You suddenly feel lighter, a little dizzy. You notice the draft beer guy is sitting next to you. So, do you stay? Or but your choice doesn't matter anyway. You can't move. Fear has paralyzed you. You had the chance to leave this situation before it got out of hand, but you chose to stay. Or did you? And now you have to drag yourself through life carrying the mantle of sexual assault victim, and it feels like a burden. But it's so heavy. What's the choice that doesn't land you here? Anyone? Please. Why did this happen? How much time do you waste wondering where it all went wrong? You didn't choose this. me give you some advice. Go into the kitchen, even if it's only in your mind, and fill up your glass with water. Can't go wrong with water, right? Now take a long, deep drink of it. Leave only half in the glass. There. Now that's a start.